Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Web3 DJs. Today we have a fantastic guest, Mr. Rob Levy. He is a filmmaker, animator, illustrator, and the founder of Dizzy Dragons NFT. Welcome.
Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so you're calling in from New York, and we were talking before the show. We're really excited. This is one of the projects. I would consider it an OG project because it came out May 1st, June 31st of last year, which was like pretty early on in the NFT world. So I'd consider it an OG project. I bought one early on. I've been holding this whole time. I've got my fused dragons, and I was so pumped when this project came out. So I'm so excited to hear your story. Maybe we can just start there. What is your background? I mean, we've got filmmaker, animator, but how did you find your way from what you were doing before into the NFT space?
Yeah, and tell us where you're from. Tell us where you're from as well. I think that's be cool to hear.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm from New York. Was born on Long Island, and then kind of did my my film college and film world work and everything in Manhattan. And I'm actually located in Long Island City now, so just bouncing around the city a bit. But yeah, and thank you for all the kind words and supporting from the beginning. Like, it's always super cool to cross paths with people that I've interacted with in this kind of weird Web3 way and obviously never met before. So yeah, I mean, it's this whole thing's been a trip, and saying that we're an OG collection definitely makes me feel like I need to get the makeup out and get my wrinkles gone. But like yeah, it's been a trip. So whatever wrinkles I have, I feel like I definitely deserve them by this point. And it's always so funny because like we've been doing this. We're creeping up on our 1 year anniversary on Saturday. So we've been doing the Dizzy Dragon specifically for about a year now. And like it's always crazy thinking back, kind of when we were starting that. For whatever this NFT space kind of does to you, like you're always feeling like you're under the gun. So it's like when we were coming out, like we didn't feel like this is kind of something that has been around for a while or it's going to be here in a year from now. Like it was very much like kind of just let's, like this is happening now. Like, can we create something that is, that's going to work in this environment and also kind of work with, what I was kind of looking to do with my career in general. And yeah, I guess that we can kind of take back to your initial question, kind of how I got here. My background's in filmmaking, and like I went to film school and did all that. And I really fell into editing more so, kind of just to kind of pay the bills. And I found it much more enjoyable to be editing on projects, either in air-conditioned offices or in my own apartment, rather than doing the crazy hours of set life, which I would like. I was always kind of making my own films, so I was doing the kind of crazy hour set life stuff. Just was much easier to stomach when it's your own passion project. So I basically fell into pixel art kind of through filmmaking and my love for Star Wars, as you're showing right on the screen. And thank you for pulling that up. I've always kind of loved Star Wars and wanted to, it was like kind of a dream. Like one day I'll work for Disney or work for Lucasfilm and tell a Star Wars story. And that's obviously, extremely kind of a top tier goal that I wasn't really prepared to wait for as a 27, 28-year-old or whatever. So I decided that I wanted to kind of tell this Star Wars story. There was a lot of fan films that kind of, I was, very into the YouTube Star Wars fan film world. And that kind of sparked my like, all right, this can be done. Like, other people are kind of telling their own story. Like, I don't need to make money from it. I can just do it and get, kind of the exposure of the Star Wars community and at least show people what I'm capable of doing. And again, didn't have any money to make an actual Star Wars live action movie. I, at the time, knew nothing about animation or illustration of any kind. And I kind of just hit the ground and was like, all right, if I'm going to do it, I can't afford to pay other people to do it. So I got to teach myself how to do pixel art. And then I got to teach myself how to animate that pixel art. And yeah, I was working on that project for I mean, I'm still not complete with it. There's one episode that I have to do, but it was about 2 years in the making. Wow. Before really anything came out of it. And then last year kind of the NFT space came up, and a friend of mine, Benjamin, reached out to me and was kind of just like, hey, like, have you ever heard of this NFT thing? Like, you know, it's kind of cool, and I see a lot of pixel art here. And I was just like, no, but I do pixel art all the time, and nobody ever, you know, is offering me any kind of money, or like I never really thought that I can sell this as art. Like I never thought of myself as what I was doing as art per se. It was always like a means to an end as far as like the filmmaking end of it. But then I found the NFT space and kind of started really going down a different path. And at that time, this was like early March, or like March of last year, February, March, something like that. And anybody who was around at that time kind of knows that it was very much like art centric, and that this PFP boom didn't happen, or, you know, it didn't happen yet. Really, the crypto punks were the only one kind of really that, you know, that was a thing at that time. So like it was really about, as an artist, trying to find your way in the space, like marketing yourself and your art like to collectors, and really kind of doing something completely different. So the NFT space definitely just introduced me to a lot of new people, a lot of new kind of things. The technology of it, I really all fell in love with. And when the whole generative boom did happen, it kind of just like fell into everything that I've already kind of previously been doing, and what I've always really loved, which is, you know, character designing, world building, and pixel art. So out of that came Dizzy Dragons eventually. Sorry, I know that was super long. I don't know.
That was perfect. It was great, just what we wanted to hear. And so, pulling up Dizzy Dragons now, I will say I echo Hofstra's sentiment. I remember this was very popular right when I first joined the space. I remember, you know, craving a Dizzy Dragon. I wanted one so badly. And then I remember when you did the fusions, you know, that FOMO was heightened even more. And this art is great. I think it's really cool. Initially, my first thoughts is it kind of reminded me of like Charizard. I'm really into this sort of reptile, that sort of thing. But what was your inspiration for the dragon specifically? Like, where did the Dizzy Dragons concept come from?
Yeah, man, it's kind of a weird thing. Like, dragons seem to be something I can't kind of get away from. I think it just kind of all is like my kind of just my love for fantasy worlds and dragons in general. Like a weird kind of little fun fact, the Star Wars fan film that I did, even that's called The Dragon Void Run, and that was, again, years before any of this shit. Nice. And even weirder, after like I launched Dizzy Dragons, I realized that like the first pixel art that I posted on Instagram ever was a dragon, just some dragon that I drew for some Reddit competition. So dragons is something that I just always love and kind of find a way into my art one way or another. With the Dizzy Dragons, it was definitely like the Bored Apes, like they happened, and that really kind of inspired me in many ways. So before I even like planned on making this my own collection, I just started doodling some like little sprites, just dragons and just various costumes, and just started dressing them up and just had a ton of fun doing that. And then it kind of, being an artist in the space, trying to figure out like what's working, why it's working, and all that kind of stuff. I wanted to fit the more traditional profile picture of like Twitters and stuff like that. And as much as I love my little sprites, I thought like it would kind of be better to, tell the character or show the characters with a little bit more detail. So that's kind of where we ended up with the kind of punched up dragons that we have now.
Nice.
So me and you have a common thing. Benjamin, I didn't know him, but that's how I got in the space too. I was following him on Twitter, and then I saw the stuff, and then I ended up getting it, and I bought in because I kind of put the two and two together that you guys are working on this project. But how did that come together? So he comes to you, and then I know when I looked at the founders page, it looks like you've got you and Benjamin, then you've got Oliver, Treasure Seeker, and Matt. Are these people still the core team, or what? like how does everybody fit in the project now, or even back then?
Yeah, the team is definitely, it's shaken up. I mean, as any kind of growing company goes, like we have, had people come and go. And Benjamin is like I mentioned, he got me in the space, and we go back before the space. We met playing softball. We both grew up on Long Island, and after high school, that was kind of like our way to stay young again. Like me and a bunch of my friends kind of started the softball league and just kept playing ball. And he was somebody I met through there, and like we've always stayed in touch. We were good friends, and then like I mentioned, he's like always kind of tech forward. So it definitely made sense when he reached out to me about getting into the space. So yeah, and with Dizzy Dragons, he was hungry, I was hungry. We were both kind of like figuring out a way that we can both do something that we're passionate about. And then Oliver, who is Flecktarn, I'm not even sure at this point what he's labeled as on the website. I forget. He's my creative partner who I met in film school. And he's just like a freaking lore, a genius in many ways. He actually runs his own YouTube channel. I'll plug it real quick. It's called Uniform History for any military or like kind of history buffs out there. And he helped me kind of come up with the backstory and just like a lot of the lore that we've been writing for all this. And
well, maybe talk about that. Like, what is the lore? What's the story for people that might not understand what it is?
Definitely. So yeah, Dizzy Dragons is pretty much oh cool, yeah, that's Uniform History.
Shout out to Oliver. There it is.
He's crushing it. He was crushing it on YouTube before we started doing the NFT thing. What was I saying? So the lore. Dizzy Dragons, pretty much like the easiest way to sum it up. Like I remember I had to get some stuff for like we did a merch run, and I had to go pick up some stuff, and I ended up kind of explaining what Dizzy Dragons was to like an elderly man, and I was like, how can I kind of break this down? And basically, it's a bunch of dragons who hang out and hide away in what we call the Dizzy Den. It's like it's a cave, a series of caverns that they can kind of tuck away and do their things. And rather than kind of being big and scary dragons, they're the dragons that you want to drink a beer with, you want to smoke a joint with, and kind of just hang out. The real like the lore is pretty much that they've over time been kind of sneaking away and stealing things and stealing kind of like just cool hobbies or whatever's happening in the human world, and bringing that into their world. So it's this kind of mix of like modern stuff, but it's very influenced by like steampunk art, and the kind of vibe with what their world's built out of is pretty much like the best of every generation. Like they never like completely would modernize. They would just kind of take whatever and leave it. But yeah, I mean, I can kind of geek out about stuff like that. The kind of major lore point that we did evolve, or we did lean into, was what we call the Dizzy Demons, and that was pretty much inspired. It was all part of the idea of our fusion event that we had, which we can definitely get into as well. But basically, the fusion event had some repercussions, and every time two Dizzy Dragons were fused, which is basically two like souls of the dragons coming into one body, there would be a piece of those souls that breaks out, and what happens is our evil main villain of our Dizzy world, Dumos, is basically harnessed all of those souls and with them created a Dizzy demon army. And that's a story that we are getting ready to start telling in interesting ways that I don't really think I should be leaking at the time.
Oh, come on. We're always welcome a little alpha here on our show, right? A Web3 DJs exclusive.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure. I'll see. We'll see if I can what ends up slipping out. But I'm on my guard as of now. But yeah, and I mentioned on the website, or it's right on the website, we collaborated with a really amazing artist, Buck Lewis, who's a concept designer, who's done work on films like Kung Fu Panda, Ratatouille, Cars. Yeah, I can name drop a lot of his stuff. And as you see on the screen, that's his concept work that he basically handed off to us, and then I ended up recreating the characters in pixel form, which is what you see in the collection. And yeah, it was definitely a wild experience and kind of dream come true working with somebody of his caliber. And I mean, just seeing his kind of belief in the project and all that he put his heart into it, like all that stuff, it doesn't, it really feels like somebody that kind of put their all into it, and just collaborating on that level with somebody of that caliber was a really cool experience.
Yeah, how did that come about? Like, where'd you first get introduced to Buck, and like, was he part of your community prior and you brought him on? Did you know him through your schooling or your connections in the film world? How did you guys facilitate that?
Yeah, no, man. Everything, like, as I'm sure you guys know, everything is just like kind of weird connections and interactions. And like, yeah, I met him through a friend who I'd collaborated with, like an art friend, or an artist friend, who I'd met through another artist friend, who I'd met through a musician friend, So yeah, the artist specifically that I met Buck through, he goes by 3 Panels Crime, and if you're a Dizzy holder, we've actually airdropped a collaboration that we did with him earlier on, yeah, he's a really talented storyteller. But yeah, it was just when we wanted to do Dizzy Demons, I'd reached out to him about helping me art direct the collection generally, because I had the concept, but I definitely. It was just a big idea, and like the idea of demons is so what's the word? It's so abstract. It's like, what does that mean? Is it a ghost? Is it like blah blah blah? So like it was really hard for me to really grasp on my own, and he helped, and we ended up bringing in Buck to really bring in the big guns.
Nice. So you're a year in now. And man, a lot has changed and gone on in the last year. What's like the biggest thing you've learned in your first year in the NFT space?
Slow down and F the hype. I mean, F the hype and trust your instincts, because like I don't mean F the hype like stay away from it. I mean F the hype like do your own research, as the space likes to say, and follow your convictions. Because there's going to be a lot of tests here, a lot. So yeah, I'd feel like it's the year of being a project founder, let alone being in the NFT space, has been pretty damn wild. But yeah, if I would tell anybody, any advice getting into it, it's just know what you want to do and stick to that, because everyone's going to tell you what they want you to do, and everyone's got their own agenda, and it ain't yours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's very similar. So like my first business, I raised about $1 million, and I remember like, oh shit, now I actually have to do this. You know what I mean? So like getting the money and selling out's one thing, but then all the work that comes in the NFT space, the roadmap isn't your traditional business plan. So like you were saying, it's abstract. Well, it's a little bit like ambiguous on what you're going to do. And so how did you feel after selling out your project? Was that a pretty crazy experience?
Oh, hell yeah, dude. I freaking definitely cried. It was wild. I mean, yeah, like we can go into like why it was wild. Like as an artist, like fuck, it was one of the most, assuring moments of my life, like artistically. But as a business founder and somebody that just got a lot of funding, it was definitely like a lot of responsibility, a lot of I getting into it. Like I always wanted to keep the promises down. Like I didn't want to get into anything saying like we're gonna take over the world. Like the end of the roadmap, the original roadmap was very much just like brand development, IP building, like something that I know I could do, even if all goes to shit. Like I believe in this enough that I can take it on my shoulders and carry it, where it needs to go until we get there, kind of thing. And yeah, I mean, like, what was the original question? I got lost for a second.
No, I was just like wondering how that
felt.
feels to like mint out a project and then go, oh wow, like, now we got to go make this thing happen. So you're a year in now. What are the plans for this upcoming year? Like, what do you guys have in store for Dizzy Dragons holders, or just the project?
Yeah. So I mean, and this definitely kind of goes to what the other question as far as like figuring out like, oh shit, what the F are we doing? Like, what are these things? The word utility was one I'm sure you guys are quite familiar with, or anybody in the space.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, like, and as a project,
what is utility?
Dude, hey, again, an hour conversation alone, we can talk about what is utility.
Right.
Especially again, being a project founder, it's not something that I was ever able to take lightly. Like, it was not something that like, oh, like, give me utility. It was always just like, oh shit, like I have to give utility now. Like, what is utility? What is this, again, an abstract thing? Like, in this world that's so the Wild West, so unpaved, like everything is so, it's just what, things get carried very fast without actually being figured out yet. And for me, figuring out what utility is definitely something that like has been paramount, for this year, for this entire year. And, since like at least November, we've been very much like into just providing like with the NFT itself, what is it beyond just a picture, or what is it beyond a membership token to a party or events or something like that. And something that we gravitated towards as the team was platforms like World Wide Web 3, like Pixels. They go by Pixels, that formerly Pixels Online. But they're basically platforms that you're able to hook up you're able to connect your wallet to and utilize tokens as playable characters in these metaverses. So as somebody, again, that was trying to really put my finger on like, what is utility? And again, like, not utility that's just meant to be flipped, like actual utility. Like, what is something you can use this for? I found a lot of solace in that idea of just like, okay, like we can provide this, like we can give you an experience that's unique for Dizzy Dragons and for you. And what was really cool with our collection, we've mentioned fusion a couple of times. People actually like were able to create their dragons. So there's a lot of dragons in the collection that people basically custom made, and now they're able to play with those created characters in essentially in video games. So that was something that it's taken several months to get to the point where we are, but we have our sprites integrations prepared for World Wide Web 3 and this Pixels Online world. And another cool thing I'd love to plug is on our NFTs themselves, on OpenSea or on the marketplace, wherever you're looking at it. We have it's called like Quantum Tech is what our partner company is called, or one of a company that we partner with. I'm bad with wording. But they're basically, they've given us really cool tech. And if you click on one of the NFTs, you can see that there's options to view the dragon in different ways. So directly on that NFT, you can see we have the original profile picture view. We also have a full body pixel art dragon view. But then we also have the World Wide Web sprite in there. And then we'll also eventually have the Pixels Online sprites in there. So you can always kind of see your dragon in all forms. It's very much not just a profile picture anymore. It's an actual interactable token.
Man, this is awesome. I've never seen this before. This is really sweet.
Yeah, dude. Shout out to Quantum Tech. He's somebody I've been collaborating with since early in the space, and he's very, very progressive in kind of pushing what NFTs can do.
Man, that is huge. And something that I did want to call out. Well, first, let me make sure that I give the opportunity to congratulate you on your 1-year anniversary. Again, that's huge. We've seen projects come and go. I've been a part of projects that have not as like, a team member, but I've invested in communities that are definitely no longer here. Honestly, probably more than I could count on my 2 hands here. And so the fact that you guys are still around 1 year is huge. Now, part of what sustains you, I'm sure, has to be your community. Your community is blowing up the chat right now. Like one of the most supportive that we've seen here on this show.
Hey.
Yeah, shout out to Bingus, Zerd, Icar,
What's up?
Stay Dizzy, Dizzy Dink, Just Woke, Icur on Twitch. Like all these Get Scammed. Like that's kind of a weird name, Get Scammed, but Fuel, SBS Vital. I mean, LA Mars. These people are going crazy in the chat right now, so that's huge. Is there like a your leadership team is come and gone, and just like I was mentioning earlier, I'm sure your community has is there a community member or a couple of members that maybe sticks to your mind that has really had an influential role in this project, maybe has brought something to the table that you hadn't thought of or the leadership team hadn't thought of before, or maybe positive or negative, cause you to shift your direction or implement something new, anything like that?
Yeah, well, I mean, firstly, I got to shout out Get Scammed. It's a joke that it's the most ironic thing that like one of the best people I've met in the space is named Get Scammed. He's like such an OG Dizzy, and like, again, one of the dopest people I've met in the space in general. Just such a fun irony. But yeah, I honestly, I don't want to like include or exclude anybody because like the community is just, it's really, as you said, people come and go. The people I will definitely shout out are like our mod team, Iker, Bald Halfwit, Moreflow. These people started off as community members and have given so much to the project, to myself, to Dizzy's, and they're just amazing and just hold shit down in every capacity. And the community, like, it's something that always kind of it helps. It's crazy, and it's cool to see that something that I made some kind of art was able to resonate in people that way. It's like nostalgia clearly works, and as we see Netflix and anybody else plugging at that emotion. And I know that was something I always heard a lot of, that like the dragons and the website in particular kind of gave people a sense of nostalgia.
For sure.
And I definitely think that like it speaks to the actual idea of Dizzy Dragons and how strong that is, regardless of anything else, that the community and the people that fell in love with it, they still really have an awesome connection with it. So I'm just so grateful. But shout out everybody. Like, I love you all. Seriously.
Yeah, like I said, man, I haven't seen this level of support in any of the other streams that we've been in. So that's really, and if they've been with you a year, it's like this guy's kind of the limit at this point.
You're on the ride.
Absolutely. And we're just getting started. I mean, like it's a game of kind of figuring it all out as we're going, as I'm sure you guys know, like with the NFT space, like it's the train tracks that we're putting down in front of us. And just doing that in the most calculated way is kind of the trick. And as we were talking about before, like one of the benefits of being, old and a year in the space is kind of having that time where like I'm already kind of seeing the next rush and just looking at other people and just being like, yo, you guys got to chill. You don't even know, like you got a long time.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, like, I remember even like throwing shade, not like publicly, but like in myself, throwing shade on like other founders or like people out here, like, oh, like, it's so much harder once the project launches. And I was like doing all the art, staying up late. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm dying right now. Like, I can't wait for it to be done. There's no way it's going to be harder. And it's just like, if you think it's a marathon, like it's a fucking walk to the moon. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
that's probably a really good segue. You want to bring up the spot that you were talking about, Sticky, today, because we were just talking about having a new little piece. I'll let you kick it off.
Yeah, sure, absolutely, man. You talked about throwing a little bit of shade, and something that we're trying to do on our show is come up with like a question or something that's unique to our show that we bring up consistently, something that's a theme. And so we're going to call it beefing on the blockchain. Now we know it is all wag me vibes and love and all of that sort of thing on the blockchain. But if you're like us, either it's a project, a person, or a theme, something on the blockchain is bothering you. And so we got to call it out here. Rob, beefing on the blockchain, what's going on? Do you have some sort of beef that you like to bring up real quick?
My beef with the blockchain, I don't want to offend anybody.
Sure, let's hear it.
One thing that might be a safe beef, we can call it that, because it's not targeting anyone specifically. But one thought that I have when I see, like, when I'm scrolling through the endless Twitter, the endless NFT Twitter, one thought I have is, like, what would you be doing if NFTs weren't a thing? And, like, that's kind of a question that, like, I don't know if it matters, but, like, it's something I think about, that, like, if just, and I guess what that means can be interpreted, but as far as, like, looking in myself, like, one way I've kind of been able to really justify, like, my existence here is that I feel comfortable, I feel natural, like it's following a path that I want to take anyway. And if I wasn't here, I was making pixel art before here, I was telling stories before here, like, I would be doing this to different capacities, just not with NFTs. And I don't know if that's right by any means, and people that aren't doing that aren't right, because, like, there's so many opportunities in the space that don't exist elsewhere. But there's definitely something that, again, when I just see some questionable tweet or people saying things, and I'm just like, okay, like, what are you really here for? And, like, if it wasn't just, like, this kind of space that's all hype, or like, that there's not, that's all hype, that it's very easy to manipulate, and it's very easy to create a persona that might not be justified. It's not helpful for the space, and I got beef.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely, and we'll love it. That's the first edition right there, beefing on the blockchain, and so really appreciate it. I think
you made me do the first. Oh shit! I didn't
one. There was a dry run. I think we'll have to warn people about it moving forward.
There's no
talked about it, and it's something we wanted to bring up. But well said. As a matter of fact, it's kind of something that Hofstra and I were talking about on our last show. Is like, who are we giving our money to, and then what are they doing? Are they putting it back into this space? Are they taking it and then going on we'll never hear from them again, and literally taking money out of the space? That's not helping it grow. And so, again, 1 year in, do you have any tips for bettering the blockchain? Something that individuals, your community, people, our community, our audience that's watching the show, that things they can engage in to help better the blockchain?
I don't know. I feel like that. Yeah, that I feel like to maybe better the space in general. I don't know. That's tough, man. One thing that I think about with that question, maybe I can just, like, tangent off into.
Sure, let's do it.
Make it about me. Like, I really only feel comfortable speaking about myself. I completely just blanked.
It's all good. I got a quick pivot anyway. So you had talked about kind of the new wave and the next rush coming in. So you have this partnership coming up with Scott Lawrence London, our buddies across the pond here. Can you tell us, like, what constitute, what it means, and what Dizzy Dragons can look forward to here?
Yes. Yeah. No, this changes everything. This means a lot. We've been working on this for a while. Scott Lawrence is actually a Dizzy Dragon community member and OG holder, and somebody that I've gotten the chance to, obviously through this experience, get really close with. Amazing dude, and really talented web designer. And we've been really just working on what the website needs to be, and what would be cool. So what we're really excited about is finally being able to showcase what we've been doing in one place, rather than kind of different Discord channels. Our website right now is still our website since launch, basically, which it's going to be so sad to let go. Like, I love that website to death, but as everything we've talked about on the stream, like, it doesn't justify kind of everything we've got cooking up. So as far as all of our different integrations go, I'm really excited to kind of be able to just showcase the what Dizzy Dragons can actually do with that. So when we're talking to our holders, or when we're sharing information about like what are Dizzy Dragons, like we're actually able to give you that full scope. And yeah, another cool feature, actually this will be some dope alpha for anybody listening. I might get yelled at for saying it, but
no, we got your back. Don't worry about it.
We're implementing a gallery into the website, which is something that I'm sure a lot of people have seen on other websites. But as an artist, I'm so excited to be able to look at Dizzy Dragons without a price under it, and like actually having just a viewable gallery of the dragons that we can, cycle through, both with like another, just it's really cool to have all the different views, because we're working on having that gallery able to kind of be seen with all the different views. So for the first time, again, we'll be able to see all the different sprites kind of laid out in a gallery, and filtering through that, and just have a really cool database of the Dizzy Dragons. So that's one feature on the website that we're psyched about.
That's awesome. I'm curious, like, what does a day in your life look like? Like when you wake up, like how are you working on this project?
A lot of coffee. Every day I wake up, I pretty much get coffee. That's usually where it starts. But yeah, every day is a little different. Like, I guess it can kind of get a little monotonous, but just different phone calls and different meetings. Just honestly, just trying to get whatever's on the plate off. Like there's always a stack, and it's just kind of like a mix of following like passion and my like any kind of creative fire that I can go with, and then also balancing that with like, oh shit, this needs to get done like now. Yeah, like right now I've been trying to work on getting a better balance and getting kind of the train running a little bit more, a couple steps ahead, so I don't have to feel like I have so much on my plate at once, because I'm an artist, I like to think, and it does suck when I go like a full week without creating something.
Yeah.
And actually I'll use that as a little segue to plug something else. I do a weekly pixel art live stream with the whale community, which is a crypto community and really amazing people. Really the first community that like kind of opened their arms to me in the NFT space. And we do what's called pixel improv, where I basically just take suggestions from the chat live and just start drawing it. And then whenever it's done, we mint it, and then I give it away to somebody in the chat. So that's honestly just a little shout out to them, because like even though there are full weeks where I really don't feel like I get to create, and it's really business driven, I do always have that hour every Wednesday. I'm going to hop on there tonight after this. It's 7:30 Eastern every Wednesday, and I get to just create some fun stuff with them.
So where do you find that? Where, like, if someone wants to go on that, where do they go?
So you can go in the in our Discord, in the Dizzy Dragons Discord. We always link to it in our announcements. But the stream is through their Discord. It's their the whale community Discord. So yeah, I would
Twitter.
I would so bad. I should have been way more prepared for that.
No, that's cool. I just like
on our socials.
I saw something with Beeple doing that like way back when. And he would do a similar thing, and they would just throw stuff out, and then he would create art. I thought it was super cool.
Oh, dude, it's so much fun. Like it was something that I was like terrified about. Like the first couple months, I would just freaking shake before going live, and like, what the hell are we gonna do? Like, I gotta finish this quick, or else they're gonna think I suck. And now I've gotten to like the community is so amazing, and like it's such a cool vibe that like. Sometimes we only do an hour every week. So sometimes it'll take me 4 weeks to, finish one piece. And it's kind of just like, again, just a piece that's no pressure. Like there's no strings attached to it. It's just like it's such a cool artistic experience, especially with everything going on elsewhere. It's just like, it's one thing I can legit say fuck it to. But like the other cool thing is like, it has to be shown to people, like, because as an artist, you can just do your fuck it things and like kind of do your doodles and have fun with that. But like I keep cursing. I'm sorry. These.
Oh,
Yeah, we
okay.
don't care.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
All right, cool. Yeah, these fucking things are, you know, live in front of people, and it's vulnerable. It's fun. It's free. It's just really dope.
So what are your tools? Like, what programs are you using to make your art?
I mainly use Photoshop. With the pixel drawings, we use an online app that's native to them. It's called Pixel Chain. They've developed it. But otherwise, if I'm on my own, I use Photoshop pretty strictly. And my animation is either Photoshop or After Effects. That's where I've done all the Han Solo and the more complex animations. I basically draw all the characters and all the environment pieces. I'll bring them into After Effects, build them in a 3D environment, and shoot the scenes with 3D cameras. So it's this kind of like faux Paper Mario 3D situation. So yeah, Adobe all the way.
That is really nice. Great. Yeah, I'm a big Adobe elf, so not quite at that level yet, of course, but definitely has a great suite of products. So let me ask you, Rob. Someone's new to the NFT space, new to the blockchain. They're just getting their feet wet. What are like the top 3 things that they should know about Dizzy Dragons?
A great community was first. Like, if you don't know anything about an NFTs and like you want some people that will have you, like, I don't want to say your best interest, like we're trying to scam you, but like literally, like you'll meet good people in our Discord, in our community, that will guide you in the right way. So our community first and foremost. The art's dope. I'd like to say, like,
Nice.
it's pretty sick. But like the utility factor, it's again a word that I cringe with, but the idea that we are that, you know, we're going to continue to offer more capabilities with the NFT. So I've always kind of liked to think that we're a good way to kind of get your Web3 experience, especially with where we are now at a reasonable cost. You will get airdrops, you will get access to World Wide Web3 with special, you know, unique things, like just we've been providing what I would like to think is a pretty premium experience as far as the NFT space goes, at consistently a reasonable, you know, price. So it's something that I'm also like happy about. Like it's really kind of nice to be able to say like, hey, if you want to get into NFTs, like buy a Dizzy Dragon. And it's not because I want you to just give me money. It's because then again, if you want to experience these different things, like that will give you some access. Like it's a great place to, if nothing else, start, you know?
Yeah, I actually really like your take on utility. That's probably one of the better explanations I've heard about what utility is. But here's a fun fact. So me and you actually met in line at the Cool Cats NFT, whatever it was, in NFT NYC. How was NFT NYC for you? I know you're from there, but what were your thoughts on it? Did you think that, I don't know if you went last year or not, but yeah, I just want to hear your take. What'd you do?
Dude, yeah, I'm a geek. I've never felt like such a cool kid before. Like I just had like exclusive access to a Steve Aoki, like crazy. It was honestly surreal. Like the whole week was I mean, again, like you know, depends what road we want to take this. Like emotionally, again, as a project founder and you know, somebody that is trying to build in this space, like it was full of so many emotions, just jealousy, hype, excitement, love, everything, like just everything balled in one, because you're seeing everything right in front of you. So it was, you know, again, from a project founder point of view, a freaking trip. But from just somebody in the NFT community, like it was pretty damn cool. You know, like I don't know if it's gassing it up too much, but like almost like World's Fairy kind of vibes, where it was just kind of like, it just felt like we're seeing, we're just seeing things that are on the horizon that are a dream, but they're not a dream because we're kind of there already. It was all this, it was really cool to kind of feel that energy. I got to go to some of the Sandbox events and again, like just see a lot of what they've been cooking up and what they were announcing there was really cool. And yeah, just we also did a Dizzy Dragons meetup, which was amazing, getting to meet a lot. I mean, we had a really nice turnout, so it was just amazing getting to meet and chill with a lot of people. And I don't think I got too drunk, so I was pretty handling myself pretty well.
We'll leave that to the community to decide. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to go back to the tapes for sure. Yeah, and Cooltopia was freaking awesome. Shout out to Cool Cats. Shit, they're so dope. That was like so cool. Like growing up on Long Island, there were so many things that like that were that kind of experience where like you walk through that was like themed for a season, like Christmas or whatever, and like it was so cool walking through this like kind of built out experience and world. And their like whole idea of like that in like the IRL arcade, like you are, like you're just living in this kind of arcade. Really, really neat. So yeah, I thought it was all around cool. Again, yeah, the idea that somehow or another these things that I was investing in ended up being the hottest, the ticket to the hottest parties of the year was never something I accounted for, but yeah, I guess it's cool.
That's great, man. Yeah, Hofstra's been rubbing it in my face 2 years in a row now. There's no way I will miss the next NFT NYC, Shine, Sleet, or COVID. I will be there. That's a joke. If I have COVID, I'll obviously stay home. But anyway, yeah. So thank you so much again for coming on. I know we're getting kind of close to time here. Real quick to our audience and anybody watching, if you enjoyed this content, make sure that you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and tell a friend about us. Both projects here, I think that's the number one way that you can support either of us. Now, before we leave what we're coining the fastest 30 minutes on the blockchain, is there anything that we should have asked
45,
you about that we didn't?
47.
Yeah. Fastest 47 minutes of NFTs and crypto on the blockchain. Is there anything that we should have asked you about either yourself or not? Anything else that you'd like to bring up?
I mean, I feel like kind of the one thing that somehow we managed not to talk about was the Sandbox, and that's kind of another like Web3 venture that we've dove head over heels into, for better and for worse. Like it's been both kind of a grueling, crazy experience and also a really exciting and cool one. Met some, again, not so cool people, and also met some freaking incredible people. Like we can have a whole podcast on just the Sandbox and what it's like to build in a metaverse that doesn't exist yet. But
I tried it. It wasn't very easy for me. I was like, what the hell what do I do here?
Yeah, dude. I've tried the voxel edit a couple times and I can figure it out just very slowly, and it's frustrating.
I gave it to my 13-year-old daughter because she's on a Roblox and she builds on all these different things, and like she's in Minecraft, and she looked at it and she was not interested whatsoever. She's like, whatever. It's like, all right.
Dude, I was just gonna say, like, one of the more frustrating things was like when I'm trying to learn this and I go on YouTube for like a tutorial and it pops up like some 8-year-old or 10-year-old that's just freaking crushing it, and I'm like, I got nothing. I can't do it.
Like, fucker.
Yeah,
I know.
But yeah,
Rob, we really appreciate.
Oh, sorry, yeah, no, I was just gonna say we are building in the Sandbox. Please, check us out for more information on that. When our website is live, we will have a nice page dedicated to all we've been doing. So yes, we can save that for next time for sure.
No, that's awesome, man. So thank you so much. I really enjoyed this. I loved your take on a lot of these different things. You seem like a really genuine guy, and
for sure.
Are doing this thing for the and it makes me feel proud to be a holder. I'm gonna try to check out your stream tonight because that sounds super dope. But maybe we can have you on down the road and just pick your brain a little bit. But like Sticky said, if you like this, give us a like, tell a friend. Other than that, it's about all we got. Thank you so much. Unite.
Rob Levy, and Dizzy Dragons, everybody. Thank you again so much. And but before we go, just letting you know, we got a great show lined up for you all Sunday. This Sunday, we're going to be going live with Kumite, one of the hottest new projects out there. And so definitely very excited for that. Rob Levy, Dizzy Dragons, thank you so much, my friend. Until next time, like Hofstra said.
Hey, thank you guys. Much love.